Hi, I'm Jimmy Chang, and we're here to talk about how to do y-slope intersects in algebra. Now, the general notation for that is actually y-slope intercepts, as opposed to intersects in algebra, and the equation that's generally used for that is y equals mx plus b. Now, you may have seen this equation before. You have y, you have x, but they call it slope-intercept form because the m is the slope and the b is your intercept, more specifically the y-intercept, where it touches the y-axis. Now, the best thing to think about this is to draw the xy coordinate system and look at a couple of examples for you. Suppose you want to graph y is equal to, let's just say, 3x minus 1. What I always recommend folks do is that they graph using alphabetical order. If you look at this, the letter that's earliest is the b, and the later letter is the m. So graph the b, the y-intercept first, and then graph the slope. So the number that corresponds to the b is -1. That means it touches the y-axis at -1. Now what you want to do after that is look at the slope, which is 3, but if you remember from previous algebra lessons, slope is rise over run, so always write your slope as a fraction if possible, and 3 can be thought of as 3 over 1. Now, we talked about before, the slope is rise over run, so that means from the point you rise 3, that means you go up 3, and you go over 1. So from here, we're going to go 1, 2, 3. We're not going to draw the point yet, though, but we're going to go over one space. And so we're going to go ahead and have these 2 points, and then we're going to connect the dots. So the line, roughly, looks like this. Now, if you have another line, let's just say y is equal to -3/4 x plus 4, then that means you graph the 4 first, that's your b. That means it touches the y-axis at 4, and then you want to use the negative slope here to figure out where your next point is. Now the slope here is -3/4. Again, use the rise over run logic. Now, here's something to consider. Since it's a negative slope, you want to use a negative direction once, because if you do a negative direction in both places, negative over negative is a positive, so you fall into a trap of thinking that it's really positive slope when in fact it's negative. So that means a rise of -3 means you go down 3, and then run 4 means you go over 4. So down 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you draw your line, a point, and then you connect the dots of your line, and you go from there. But as long as you have this equation, it's a really useful tool to graph lines, and it's a very useful tool that you'll use throughout your algebra as well as your calculus courses. So I'm Jimmy Chang, and that's how to graph the y-slope intersects or intersects in math.